I recently interviewed Nelson Mandela about his life and his views on the world. After getting out of prison, he very much embodied a cosmopolitan way of thinking, helping to shape not only South Africa, but also the rest of the world. He stated that his goal as president of South Africa was to build a society in which all South Africans, both black and white, will be able to walk tall, without any fear in their hearts, assured of their inalienable right to human dignity, a rainbow nation at peace with itself and the world. He desired a rainbow nation, one that was made up of diverse people that could work together, respect one another, and be at peace with themselves and the rest of the world. Nelson Mandela was born in 1918, a Zoso born into Thembu royal family. He was raised by a Thembu regent and his wife. As a young man, he attended a Methodist high school and college, the University of Fort Hare. He left before getting his degree after being suspended for staging a boycott against the quality of food. Mandela then worked during the day and took classes at night in order to finish his degree from the University of South Africa. He did this because he found education to be very important. He said that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. During this time, he was introduced to the African National Congress by a friend, and he became impressed that Europeans, Africans, and Indians were mixing as equals. He then began studying law at the University of Witwatersrand so that he could become a lawyer. It was at this point in his life that Mandela began believing that black Africans should be entirely independent. This was partly because at this time the National Party of South Africa, which only permitted whites to vote, began expanding racial segregation with new apartheid legislation. Mandela became president of the African National Congress Youth League, and then in 1962 he was arrested, convicted of conspiracy to overthrow the state, and sentenced to life imprisonment. Mandela served 27 years in prison. He was released in 1990. Mandela joined negotiations with the then president of South Africa to abolish apartheid and establish multiracial elections in 1994, in which he led the ANC to victory and became South Africa's first black president. He and President F.W. de Klerk jointly won the Nobel Peace Prize for their work together to abolish apartheid. Mandela saw national reconciliation as the primary task of his presidency. He worked to reassure South Africa's white population that they were protected and represented in the Rainbow Nation. He was known for his ability to find common ground with very different communities. He said that inclusivity, accountability, and freedom of speech were the fundamentals of democracy, and he was driven by a belief in natural and human rights. In later years, he spent his time doing philanthropic work, helping to combat HIV and AIDS, among other things. He said there can be no greater gift than that of giving one's time and energy to help others without expecting anything in return. In describing his life, Mandela stated that I was not a messiah, but an ordinary man who had become a leader because of extraordinary circumstances. After I asked him about his significance, he said this: "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead." Mandela worked during his life to get equal rights for everyone in his country and to bring together a fractured nation, helping them become one with themselves and the world. That is why he is one of our great cosmopolitans. He ended our conversation with this quote: "When a man has done what he considers to be his duty to his people and his country, he can rest in peace. I believe I have made that effort, and that is therefore why I will sleep for eternity."